What's up, everybody?
Good morning, everybody.
Good
morning, guys.
Morning, guys.
Welcome back to Saturday morning Nostalgia Power.
Yes, back to our
Back
time
to
slot.
normal time slot. Although the prime time was pretty fun, I will admit. We got Mr. Fox sighting.
Ah, there you go. Yeah. Fox.
Well, Mr. Fox wanted to say hi to Damien.
Oh, is that? I saw that you made the comment earlier. So is that what that you got? You got that in Cleveland, didn't you?
Matt
Who was that?
Astra.
Matt
Matt
Astra.
Astra gave this to me, and then on the back
laminated
side
it
is
and everything.
this is on the other end of Target, and this is our classic intro right next to Petco. So, Mr. Fox, he's all decked out right now for Christmas.
So they dress him up season appropriate, right?
That's right.
It's pretty cool, though. I like that, though. Every time I see it, it's kind of cute.
I gotta put him up either in here or in the arcade. I mean, he laminated it. It's really
yeah.
I mean, it lasted.
He took some time and said, "You know what? I'm going to run into PD7 in Cleveland. I'm going to make this for him."
He wouldn't last 3 minutes here in this state.
Mr. Fox, would somebody would steal him?
No, his head would be cut off
right on him or something.
Yeah.
You gotta come out here,
people in the chat. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for everybody getting up early with us.
Yeah. It's not easy to do sometimes, is it?
No, right.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, for us,
Saturday, especially for the people who don't work.
Yeah, right. And we get off pretty easy being on the East Coast.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
What do you guys think about $4.99 Thumper Squids?
Yeah, I just saw that.
If it's at Kohl's, you get Kohl's Cash right now. I don't know if is Kohl's doing any Kohl's Cash right now. Even if it's $10 for every 50, I think it's a good deal as long as you're getting something back.
Yeah, Thumper. First of all, do you like Dragon's Lair? Is it like really a game that you love?
Maybe he just likes the cosmetic of the cabinet. Thumper.
That's what I'm going to say.
And you want to keep it as a wonderful decoration in the corner. I mean,
if you love the game and you love the look of the cabinet, I would absolutely jump on it before you can't get it, because I absolutely love the cabinet. It's except for the tiny little things that I mentioned a while ago. There's a few things that was a problem with it, but it can be overlooked because of the cabinet. If you have nostalgia for it, go for it.
Okay, so 150 Kohl's Cash. Johnny Blaze is saying Quarterdeck Arcade's got 125. He has been busy. If you haven't checked out his channel, he's filling up a ton of arcades lately, and some rework, I guess I should say, on the Burger Time cab. But Jesse, what games are on Dragon's Lair? Is it just Space Ace?
No, Dragon's Lair 2, and Space Ace.
Oh, so there's three
games.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Plus, you liked that's the score up on top. Like you mentioned that in your review.
I love it. I love it. I mean, I didn't think they were going to be able to duplicate that good. I thought they were going to do the whole cell phone thing and all that. But no, now that they put that LCD up, it's beautiful. The only problem, like I said, is that I wish the score would hold at the end of the game. It doesn't. It will stay there, but it will not go back to the attract screen, which I really wish they would have finished, because it should go back. It should go back to the attract screen, and your score should stay up till somebody else coins in or just presses in. But the problem is your score will stay up, but then you'll have a static screen of the end screen on the screen. So to get out of that, you have to kick the button out. So as soon as you do that, it clears the scores. So if somebody comes in your game room, they can't see the last score unless you keep it on that static screen. You don't want to do that and burn it in. So that's the only issue.
I would get it. It's Christmas time and we got to start shopping for people, but I mean, it's tempting. $4.99.
Yeah, I know it's not for everybody, because they think it's just a cartoon, or they just think it's kind of like
it's the cab.
My issue with Dragon's
game,
Lair, my issue with Dragon's Lair has always been the fact that you can play it on because of the nature of it being such a cartoon with high quality animation and stuff. You can play it on all sorts of modern hardware and enjoy it.
And maybe people don't appreciate what it is
right
now, but I guess back then that was something like revolutionary.
Right.
I think I told the story
agree.
about why it's so nostalgic to me because I was there the day it was released. We
right.
lined up in a
Yeah.
giant line, and I'm telling you, there were over 100 people waiting to play this.
You
It was
know,
a movie
anything like
event,
that.
you know. So that's why
Was
it had
there-
that nostalgic value to me.
Was there a monitor on top when you first saw it?
Yeah, and they put it up on a stage. They had a stage, like you had to go up 3 steps to the stage, and I mean, they made a big deal. And then when you came in, they had a movie poster, literally looked like a giant movie poster, and it was awesome. That day was, it just ingrained in my mind. So that's why I had to have it. You know, yeah, the game, you know, whatever. But when I look at it, I stand in front of it, just brings back those memories, and that's what this is all about, right?
Right.
It's about building the arcade. I mean, having those.
Yeah.
Upper squid, if you can swing it, you know what the heck? You only
That's one of the ones
right?
that usually doesn't go on sale very often, right? So
no,
you know,
this
like
is
you said,
probably the lowest
$4.99.
it's been. I mean,
yeah, if you
might
get some close cash out of it, that may be the best way to go.
It's not going to go down low because of the LCD screen on top.
I don't think you're ever going to see it for $2.99.
You're not going to.
or
It's not going
anything
to go
like
down
that.
there. I doubt it. I highly
unless
doubt
you buy one, you know, secondhand off somebody.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Maybe your best option, but
plus it's a premium. I mean, the boxes, Jesse, you unpacked it. I mean, the boxes were different inside the box.
It looked like you were buying Apple. You know, it looked like Apple products. It was just the box was incredible. When you opened that first box with the graphics on it, inside was another box that just had, you know, the way Apple does it. That I forget what they call it when the embossed logos on every single box. It was just done high end. You know,
you're really selling this right now. We got to stop talking about it.
Well, you know, guys, I have an iArcade and Dragon's Lair's on the iArcade, so I really
Morning Toxin.
That's another reason, you know.
Yeah,
I know, but the multi-cades don't cut it.
I have it here too.
Right?
I have it right there. I can play it every one of the games, but the Dragon's Lair that I have is right over here. So I never play it over there anymore because, first of all, on the multi-cades, well, on the iArcade, I think it does show the score, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on a main version, it doesn't. You don't see your score.
Right, and the iArcade's got a different. I mean, I have it on my
iArcade
too.
iArcade has their own custom version of
it.
Okay, yeah,
but it's still good.
It's still a track. Great. We can still have
fun.
it on it.
Yeah, it's still fun. I don't, but I understand like the way Jesse is telling it. It's like, yeah, you can understand why
he's selling it. He's selling it.
It has such a it has an emotional resonance with Jesse.
Yeah,
so I can understand that. That's like, you know.
Yeah. If you have
I do too, Tox.
If you have a nostalgia to the cabinet itself, to the look of the cabinet, which was iconic back in that day, and the look of the LCD, with the scoreboard at the time, you have to get the cabinet. If you just want to play the game, play it any other way. You can play it 100 million ways. You know.
Yeah, it's like just play the game.
Just play the game. Exactly. You know, but we could play that if we could say that about every single game. We could play Pac-Man.
Yeah, honestly,
because all these multi-cades, right?
Yeah, sure.
You know, it's not really.
You know,
any game is accessible now. Basically, you don't need a dedicated.
And this is what
unless you're going for that.
This is what I was saying. You know, when Phil did his Neo Geo walk and talk, because to me the MVSX is like my all-time favorite retail home arcade that is offline and everything, because out of the box you get 50 games and all that, and then you have the high-low hack and all these things. But the idea of, say, for example, Arcade 1-Up making a big red cabinet out of nostalgia, similar to how what you're saying about Dragon's Lair, Jesse, the idea would be that if you're nostalgic for those games and you want to be able to play those games online with other people, that would be the main draw. But my only question would be, is Arcade 1-Up going to give you the level of variety that Unico did with the MVSX? My whole thing with them is for that to be a draw, they would have to have the 50 games that Unico's already released, and I believe they would have to have 14 additional games that are SNK specific titles, not Neo Geo, but SNK
Mhm.
specific titles on the cab that are also online.
I
And
don't
to
know if
me,
it would be that.
would be, and to me, that would be the only way they could top the MVSX, because we've never had a cabinet where you have 50 games out of the box that you can play. And for a lot of people, online is just not that kind of a draw where it's the main selling point. Now, for me, it kind of would be at this point, because I'd want to play online with a lot of you guys.
Sure.
We're all fans of these games. So that would be a nice draw, but I feel like it would have to offer a little more than just, because if it's 14 games, okay,
which is the most the cabinet's ever been put out, right? 14.
If it's 14 games, it's like you're already,
besides the Atari 50, if we're gonna count.
Yeah, those 2,600
I'm not even
games.
counting that.
I mean, so but my thing is Neo Geo, they kind of, SNK kind of licenses their stuff out to everybody. I mean, Amazon had a bunch of SNK games for free if you were in Neo Geo. If you download their stuff and put it on your PC, they had tons of like Neo Geo Fighters, and SNK is even that SNK Anniversary Collection that came out a couple of years ago. They had that as a thing you could download for free if you had the Amazon games and you had access to all these games. So it's not like, it's like the point you guys were making about how there's no shortage of ways to play any of these games.
Yeah.
So my thing is you got to offer a little more than just saying to me, oh, it has online, so I'm going to charge $6.99 for this cabinet, and you're going to like it because you want to be able to play online. I think they gotta go a little bit deeper if they're going to do Neo Geo.
Well, I agree with you. I think the online thing, they really have to up this next year, because that is the draw for a lot of people, because like you said, most of these games can be played offline anywhere. So yeah, the draw would be put them all online no matter what.
Yep, put them
I
all
would
online.
love, like I bring it up so many times, people are tired of hearing it, but the Karate Champ, if that was online, I could play somebody else. I mean, I would love that.
Amen, Jesse. That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Again, it's Phil, you brought up on your video where you kept showing POW, and because of you, I'm getting such a fondness for POW.
I had it on the TV last week. Like I was setting this up
because I've been playing it on the MVSX. Okay, because usually now when I go on the MVSX, I'll play 3 games now. I'll play POW, I'll play The Simpsons, and I'll play Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. And I kind of, and it's like POW, I've become very, very fond of it. And I'm like, man, I hope this is on the cabinet that Arcade 1-Up puts out, and it's online so we could play co-op, but it's an SNK game. It's not a Neo Geo game.
Right.
So
if we're talking SNK, maybe they could say in Spirits mention this, have Street Fighter, Capcom games with the SNK. Maybe we get that.
Yeah. Because we haven't gotten SVC Capcom the crossover game SVC Chaos SNK versus Capcom, the one that was done through SNK, and that's on the MVSX, but I think that's a Hilo hack. I think it's a Hilo hack exclusive.
Give us the games that aren't on those original 50. Arcade 1-Up makes us buy multiple cabinets. Look at Big Blue with Knights of the Round. Like,
right.
That's the thing. That's a thing. There's enough games in that library, but you can't. But I just don't think they're going to be able to get away with just slapping 14 titles on there, especially if it's games that are already on the MVSX. I feel like they're going to have to go a little bit deeper than that. And
maybe we could buy online. Maybe they could look at games. We can bash them all we want with the skins, but we need at games to do well, because that could push Arcade 1-Up into giving us downloadable games.
Here's the thing. Yeah, with that, but at games needs to serve up more too. They need to get a better library. They need to get more extensive, especially since they cut off the bring your own games option. But I feel like we're in a situation now where you're only going to be able to keep tapping into people's nostalgia for so long. And as we've pointed out many times, space is at a premium. People are running out of space for these cabs, so they're not going to keep buying, more and more cabs. You're gonna have to, at some point.
If I can just call out Lisa, thank you, Lisa. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So,
I know. I think we'll see what happens, but could be exciting. Dragon's Lair though, $4.99. I definitely think that'd be a good buy.
Phil, the truth is we'll all have like 4 or 5 different variants of the Neo Geo Big Red. all different
That's
games.
how it is when you go to an arcade though. I mean, that's what we're doing. You can have multiple same look cabinets. It's whatever you want to do. It's your arcade, right?
Right.
Yep. Building our dream arcade, so to speak, right?
A Neo Turf Masters. Mike was mentioning Neo Turf Masters. Turf Masters is another one that people would love to play online. It'd be great. Baseball.
Yeah, it's got to be more than just fighters, right? I mean,
absolutely.
The fighting games are fun to a point, but then,
you and I play beat 'em ups online. If Mike and I play, it's always a beat 'em up. That's because it's just better with somebody. That's what I was.
Absolutely.
Video.
I was just going to say the same thing. Fighters, they're good to a point, but then beat 'em ups are also good to a point if you're just playing it by yourself. But with somebody else, it's much better.
It's a different experience.
I'm with Ralphie here. I want Robotron, dude. That would be a great cabinet to have as well.
But, that one right there is
yes.
That's the one I'm looking forward to probably the most.
Who cares? Yes.
I thought about you, Mike, when I did that video. I'm like, Mike should do another follow-up, because I know he wants that so bad. I
do. And I love Robotron, don't get me wrong, but Smash TV is the one that I can just get sucked into.
So much better.
Yeah, I can just get sucked into that and you get addicted to it.
It's just the call out on it and everything is good.
Yeah.
I've been playing that.
MG.
I've been playing that Robotron clone on the iArcade, the one that what's it called?
Galaxy.
Saturn.
Saturn. I'm thinking of
Smith. It's it's the Robotron clone, and that's actually a lot of fun. To be honest,
it's Robotron, guys. It's
essentially Robotron just with a modern skin on it. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I can see that being. That could be pretty fun. I mean, Robotron, it's another one, just like Smash TV. It's one of those games where you kind of get addicted to it.
Mm-hmm.
And you just got to keep going and going and going.
I don't know if you guys play Xenocrisis, but Xenocrisis is another game that is,
it's a banger, right?
Of course it is. It's a banger.
Well, it's funny that we brought up Dragon's Lair. It was it kind of fits the overall theme because Dragon's Lair, the year that it was released, 1983.
Oh, really?
Yes, and I thought it would be kind of fun to touch on that year because if you look at it, if you were born in the year 1983, that means you turned 40 years old this year. You officially became an old
exactly
person.
When is turning 40? When does that actually happen?
For me personally,
is it happened or is it coming?
No, not yet. Monday.
Okay.
So I'm still hanging on to my 30s for dear life. I'm still a kid, okay? I'm still young. I'm not old yet, even though getting up in the morning sometimes isn't that easy. But
just wait till everything just starts hurting, okay?
I mean, I'm already getting to that point. Playing hockey for almost 30 years probably.
Be right back, guys.
Didn't help. Okay. So I wanted to kind of revisit 1983 because I thought it might be kind of fun. Because even though I was born that year, and I'm sure a lot of other people here were too, I never really thought of and okay, what actually took place during the year that I was born. So I started doing a lot of research on it and found a lot of interesting, crazy stuff that I never even suspected that happened that year. So I'll ask you guys, the senile guy. There they go, bring him in. Old guy. My name change will take place on Monday. Yeah, it'll be the geriatric guy or whatever. But take a wild guess. the average price of a gallon of gas in the United States in 1983.
Oh, jeez. 93 cents.
Yeah, $1.25.
Actually, that's a very good guess. It was $1.22 was the information that I found, but that was just average. And what, like Phil said, in some areas it was actually below a dollar a gallon.
I remember going on that real quick. Back in the 70s, they had the restriction on gasoline.
Yeah,
and I remember you could only fill up your tank if your tank was on, I think, half a tank or a quarter of a tank. You couldn't go in any further than that.
a quarter of a tank.
Yeah, my father was addicted to, like, if it just got to a quarter of a tank low, he would have to fill his tank. He never let his tank go down to a half a tank or below.
Yeah, I guess you couldn't, right? I mean, why would you want to ride around with?
So
the way they
able to get a quarter of a tank of gas.
The way they would do it is the guy would stick his head in your window and check your gas gauge to see if you were below half a tank. So my father constructed this whole thing back in the day with black electrical tape and everything, and he made like the gas gauge and he stuck it over the gas gauge, and it looked like it was on empty. And every time they stuck their head in, he went, "Okay, you're on empty," and he never was. I remember that as a little tiny kid. I'm like, oh, look at this guy go.
There you go.
You know,
gas is $4.25.
Is that premium or
that's California price too? So I mean,
yeah, they're always higher in California.
Yeah.
You guys ever notice that if you fill your car up, that needle doesn't move for the longest time, but once it gets to that halfway point, I mean,
that's it.
It's forget it.
Well, okay, so that was the average gallon of gas, roughly $1.22. Yeah. The average family income, this was what really blew my mind, $24,580. That was your average family income in 1983, which makes sense because the average price of a house was about $75,000.
Yeah, but look at what like VCRs costed in the it's insane.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Or we were talking a few weeks ago what the Commodore 64, right?
Oh yeah, Commodore.
It was like $600, which is now would be like $1,800 or something crazy.
I think back in the 80s, 83, 84, I think a Ford Mustang, I may be wrong on this, but I think a Ford Mustang was like $6,500. I don't know. We'll have to look that up if that's true.
And is that remember those Mustangs in the 80s? They weren't like the real Mustangs, remember?
No, they changed the model.
Yeah,
they changed the body look.
I don't know what that was, but it was weird.
Yeah,
but yeah, they were
back to them.
I think they were. I'd have to look that up, but I think it was that. But I think if it was 6,500, the money today would be equivalent to, I don't know, probably 20,000 or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're. Well, I got here the average price of the car was around $6,400, which is $19,420.
Oh, okay. Wow. Boy, I used to be really good at math, but I didn't know it held on.
Yeah, so you nailed it.
So I was thinking to myself just now. I said, "Did you guys see what the Venom pinball machine has gone for?"
No.
Toxin, cover your ears. Hold on. Give him a second.
Why is he thinking about buying it or what?
He's been watching that since
it's
before
over
Cleveland.
$13,000. So in essence,
there's three versions. Is this for the?
This is the premium. This is the premium version. The Pro, I believe the premium version. I don't have it up in front of me.
The Pro is the least of the three, right?
It's the higher one. I think it's the premium.
God, I hate pinball. Oh
okay,
but
my point with all this is, can you imagine, respectively, you could almost get a Mustang back in the day for what you're getting
for a pinball machine.
Taft has these.
That just goes to show you how batshit crazy that is. Like wow. Like, I mean, you're literally talking about car pricing.
Yeah. I know. For
right. The Pro. The Pro is the affordable one, guys.
Affordable. Yeah.
Well,
I know what you mean.
It's half the price. I
know. Yeah. And it is. That you're right, though.
Meanwhile, it's $17 for a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
Go figure.
It's Bezos affordable is what it is.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a rich man's hobby, I guess, right?
Like everything. Every hobby is kind of a rich man's hobby in a way. I mean, have you seen
these cabinets?
They're
Like even sports, you go out in sports. If your kid goes into sports, I mean, you look to be spending, thousands and thousands of dollars just on equipment alone. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yep. I mean, we were talking, this is way off subject, but we were going to take the kid to a hockey game. And, I started doing the math. I'm like, me, my wife, my son, that's about $100 per ticket, $20 just to park. You go in, have a couple beers at about $16 a piece, get some food because you're gonna have. It's like a $400 night at least.
Right. It's
to
like
take the three of us to a hockey game. $400.
So Dragon's Lair at $4.99. It's not that bad if you look at it.
If you put it into perspective, right?
Pinball, you're good to go. I'd rather go to Dragon's Lair
or just going out to watch a game with Mike.
Yeah. A 7K TV back in the day. One sports in the basement. Well, yeah.
7K.
Kids don't they cost like $300,000 on average? There's something crazy. I don't know. Somebody put a number aside, what a kid costs per year.
They've been putting that number up for like years now.
Yeah.
And my kid didn't cost anywhere near that.
Now, 300,000 is that referring to like?
I guess
having a kid up until they're 18.
I don't know. Or do they include college in that and everything?
Well, then I would say probably not.
I mean, I know diapers are expensive, but I mean,
and they are stupid expensive. But I don't think I've ever spent 300,000 on it. But I could see like maybe 10, 15,000 per year you spend on your kid.
Oh, that easily, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just without doing anything crazy. But okay, so I also found out there were some of my all-time favorite movies that took place in 1983. There's a couple.
Great movies.
Yeah, we have.
Awesome.
What do we have? A couple on the thumbnail. Phil, you found what was it? Rocky 4, or was it Rocky 3? Rocky 3.
Rocky 3.
Yep.
Rocky
3. Yep. Superman 3 came out, and Jaws 3 all came out.
Yes.
And who doesn't look? I love Superman 3. It's a great.
Dude, I can watch any one of those Christopher Reeve Superman movies.
I love it.
I can. I don't know. I mean, 4 is kind of weird, but
it's kind of
with
weird.
Nuclear Man and
and
there's another one, Johnny Blaze. I was getting to that one. Technically, Star Wars 3 came out. Return of the Jedi, which is probably the last of the great Star Wars movies.
And then there's so many more, like The Outsiders, like classic nostalgia right there.
Yep.
Vacation. There's a ton of movies.
Yeah, Christmas Story, which is, Christmas Story is huge this time of year.
Who was the comedian in Superman 3 again?
Richard Pryor.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
I never got behind Richard Pryor too much. I liked Eddie Murphy a lot, but I just couldn't. I don't know. I just didn't like. I liked him.
Yeah, Jesse, I'm an Eddie Murphy guy too, man.
Yeah,
I would choose Eddie Murphy over Richard Pryor. But
Richard Pryor was before
watching his stand-up.
Richard Pryor was more the 70s, kind of.
I know, but you put him with Gene Wilder, like it was just
no.
Oh,
I was just gonna say that's about the only one that I die laughing with, with the jail scene and all that. And all that.
Yeah, you gotta. That's a classic.
I mean, that's a good one.
There's a movie with him and Bill Cosby, and Bill Cosby's just a jerk in the whole movie, and it's just everything wrong would happen to Bill Cosby. Another funny movie. There's a couple good ones.
Oh, I think I know
Richard Pryor.
But
I mean Eddie Murphy in his prime. I mean, it's not really
compared. I remember going to the theater.
Speaking of Eddie Murphy, guys, Beverly Hills Cop 4 is coming out next year on Netflix.
Oh my God, are you kidding?
Eddie Murphy was just recently interviewed talking about how strenuous it was running around.
I seen it. He said 2
years old.
They told him 1,000 times, all right, Daddy, we're going to need you to run up the stairs one more time. He goes, look, I'm 60 some odd years old. I ain't running up those stairs at one more time or something.
Well, he still looks pretty good, like if he in his mid 60s. I mean, he still looks like Eddie Murphy when I see him. Like, that's Eddie Murphy from the 80s still.
Oh, yeah.
He did not age at all.
He's calmed down a lot, though. He's kind of like he's reserved a little bit more,
because he's a dad. Isn't he a granddad now too? I mean,
look at Trading Places. I mean,
that was
you can watch that movie.
Dan Aykroyd,
that's a perfect New Year's Day movie,
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
There was another one. Was it Mr. Mom? Remember Mr. Mom with Michael Keaton?
Yes. Remember when
That was
McDonald's gave out the
1983.
you could buy that VHS from McDonald's?
No.
It had like this great deal on it. It's like $5. You can get Mr. Mom with an extra value meal.
Well, that was the movie that made everybody cringe when they said they were going to make him Batman. They were like,
Yeah.
Mr. Mom is going to be Batman.
That's right.
Are you kidding me? You know,
Meanwhile, he showed them.
Yeah, he showed them. Yeah, he showed me. I'll be honest with you. He showed me too, because that was the first movie I had seen him in, is Mr. Mom. And I said to myself, even then, I said,
I bet if that's what you know him from.
Yeah.
But,
You're
but
like,
then
this
when
guy
you
could be
watch
Batman?
the Dream Team,
you know.
Yeah,
sorry for what?
When you watch the Dream Team, you're like, when's he going to turn into Batman?
Yeah, yeah. It's true. Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny Ghostbusters. Yeah, it was 1984. So what else?
Vacation
some of the top
came out, right?
Yeah, Vacation.
David Chase.
Which
there was a lot of movies in 83. I can't think of the other ones right now, but Scarface was, I think, maybe that was 84. 83? Around there.
I think you're right. Yeah, I don't have it wrote down, but I remember seeing it. Maybe it might not have been 83 because I would.
It might not have been. I'm not sure.
82
I'll have to look on that. Yeah, I know it was around there. It's either 82, 83, or 84. One of those.
Staying Alive was 83. Didn't Stallone?
Scarface was 83, guys.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. Yeah.
My mistake then.
Mm-hmm.
My name derives from that movie. You
know why I remember 83 so much? Because Mike was born then, and I remember that day very clearly. I'm only no, it just was a
baptism.
Yeah, it was a day that I remember going to see a lot of movies. We went to see what was that movie? Clint Eastwood. My parents brought me to the theater to see that. Oh, Sudden Impact, I believe it was. Was that? I'll have to
Sounds
look
like Steven Seagal. Sudden Impact. Well, that's a Wesley Snipes movie, isn't it?
No, Sudden Impact is a Clint Eastwood, is a Dirty Harry movie.
Right. That's it.
From
that's the one where he says
1983. Yeah.
I believe that's the one where he says, "Go ahead, make my day."
Yeah.
Yeah. And we went to the theaters to see that.
Yeah. So I was surprised when I started looking up, like, okay, what were some of the top movies that year? And it was a lot of movies that came out, and a lot of them that still hold up really well, and like I said, Star Wars, I said it was the last great Star Wars movie. Maybe that was like kind of taking a shot at Disney a little bit, but because I like Rogue One. It was a pretty good movie.
All right, so I have to bring this one up, and Zod, we were talking about it. It's Revenge of the Ninja with Sho Kosugi, right?
Oh yes.
So his very first movie of that trio movies was Enter the Ninja. In 1983, they released Revenge of the Ninja, which still to this day I'm addicted to. I'll watch that a million times. In 1984, I know we want to try and say on 83, but it does. We'll go there because they were filming it in 83. Yeah. Was Ninja 3: The Domination?
The Domination, yes.
With Lucinda Dickey, if you remember that, the lead character, along with Sho Kosugi. We'll have a show and tell for you when we get to it. I'll let you see it, and it has to do with Ninja 3: The Domination.
Stock Chuck saying Revenge of the Nerds was better.
Then Ninja? No.
That's the one I'm familiar with, Stock Jock. I don't know about this.
Can I just give a quick shout out to Stock Jock?
Yep.
There are targets with Marvel Superheroes Counter Kit. I just saw one by me. Just keep your eye, but they are $149.99. Sorry, Jesse. So no, throw that out there.
Johnny Blaze, yes, sirree. That's really the reason I watched it over and over and over as a kid.
Yeah, The Outsiders. I saw that in the drive-in with my mom and my stepdad. It was The Outsiders, and then it was Octopussy 007. Same night, back to back.
At a drive-in movie theater.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you want me to show this real quick so we can get this out of the way? Okay. Sure. Being that we're on Lucinda Dickey, I got to put my gloves on for this because this is kind of important.
You like handling the Stanley Cup or something like those guys,
Well, to me it is. So.
Hey, what's up, Gallagher guy?
Hey, Gallagher guy.
Hey, Gallagher guy.
All right, let me throw her picture up. I should have done it without the glove on. All right. And this picture will be pertinent in a minute.
Oh yeah, that poster,
I
iconic.
mean, look at
Look
those
at that hair.
eyes. Look at those eyes.
Iconic.
Okay, now if you look at the sword that's in her hand, there's of course stunt swords that was in this entire movie. None of the swords were real. Okay, there were two. There were one that's an alloy that's not sharpened at all, and then the fighting swords were usually wooden swords painted silver. The promotional swords and one of the swords in the movie is an actual real sword. Okay, and there's only one, I believe, is what I was told, and that one I have right here.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh,
And I'll
All
show
right.
you this.
let me get to full screen here.
So this is the one where she held it in that picture.
So this is actually from the movie?
Yep.
All right. Well, you'll have to tell us how you came across this thing.
Yes. Well, this was an auction back in the day, and I'll show you if I can show you at the bottom here. You'll see Lucinda's signature down on the Suba or the handguard down there. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And this was the only one that she took the pictures of for the promotional videos. This is very rare. This is an actual real sharpened blade. It was the only one in the movie, of course, because they couldn't use it. I never opened this really, so you guys are getting the first look of it there.
Whoa.
Looks fantastic.
Not a smudge
Yeah.
on it.
No, I keep it in a lock case. So this is the one you see in that picture, and
Yeah.
this is the one you'll see. I think, if I'm correct, I have the paperwork locked up, but I think it's in the movie where she goes into the cave and it's laying inside there as one of the swords in there.
You're getting some offers, $1,000.
Oh, it'll have to go up from that because I think this is the only one that's.
Nice try, Damien.
So Jesse, how do you feel about Pray for Death and Rage of Honor, since you're such a big Sho Kosugi fan?
Okay, well, Rage of Death, and I didn't like them as much as the other ones.
Yeah,
but
I'm with you.
But of course, I like them because I'm a huge Sho Kosugi fan. And right up here, like I said, he gave me an autographed, personalized autograph, which he doesn't do anymore. He doesn't autograph anything. But I know him through an instructor because I used to be an instructor in martial arts. So we had connections and I got in touch with him and everything. So he gave me, just 2 years ago, which he doesn't do anymore. So I have that, which is really special. And right next to it, if you remember Revenge of the Ninja, over here in the case is one of the art gallery displays that was in the art gallery in the movie. And it's a ninja doll that's in there. And I have that in that case right there. But that wasn't the one that was shown in the movie. That is a replica of it. Not a replica, but they made two for the movie just in case one broke. And that's the other one that never got on screen.
The other one.
Yeah. And Sho Kosugi actually, what he called that one. He signed that one also.
Nice.
So I thought you guys would get a kick out of that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
you have that in your possession. Yeah, I don't think I would sell that for $1,000, and I definitely wouldn't trade it straight up for a Pac-Man.
Somebody will be doing that. You have to run them under the ground.
Yeah, well, they'll be like, "What is this thing here? $50, take it." No. No, I wish I could say that I had some cool movie props or anything like that. And Gallagher guy, here we go. It's starting at 1,001. Get the bidding war.
Can I hear 1,002?
Yeah, by the end of the show, we'll be up at 1,011 and 50 cents. So there is a price, he says, but just not 1K. I mean, there's probably a price for everything.
Oh, there's always the price. Yeah, there's always a price. But
all right. So Sayan asks you, best martial artist of all time. I think we had this debate once. I don't remember if it was on air though.
In the Budokan genre, and because there's a story about whether he actually studied, which he claims he did from his uncle. I'm not going to dispute him on that. I mean, if that's the case, if he actually studied ninjutsu or whatever, but Budokan is basically a cousin of the ninjutsu art, and he does seem to have known Budokan and Kendo and all those things. So I'll give it to him. I'll say he's the closest thing we have to a ninja of today.
Anybody else have their opinions? I don't. that's not my specialty. So,
but I would
Bruce
definitely,
Lee.
I would have to go. Thank you, MG. Cynthia Rothrock, another one of my loves. Absolutely met her. She's a wonderful, wonderful person. One of the nicest people you could ever speak to. Just a wonderful person. I actually was at a tournament one time, and she actually won world championship on her forms. And I was actually officially doing refereeing at that point. And she won again, which she was I believe she was undefeated as forms championship. So champion.
I gotta say Bruce Lee, guys.
I mean, I feel like you can't go wrong with
That's
that
where
one,
I'm
right?
gonna go quiet.
I'm a big Bruce Lee fan.
Because aren't you a Chuck Norris guy?
Yes. Another
Chuck
man.
Norris
Again,
is cool too. I'm not gonna shade at Chuck Norris.
I'm kind of siding with Chuck myself, guys. I mean,
Well, here's why. Because Chuck Norris is an actual fighter. He competed, and I competed at the end of the day. So I have that kind of. I just think Bruce Lee was really good in the art of I can't think of what it is right now, but I mean, he made the art himself. And
Jeet Kune Do.
Jeet Kune Do, yeah. And honestly, okay, it's great art. It's a derivative of Kung Fu and all that, but he never competed. He never really competed.
Well, he did in it. Well, he did in his
early
days.
He did more of demonstrations than he did actual competitions.
That's true too. He did have some competitions, but he was more. And then later on, it was more demonstrations and stuff. But
right,
yeah,
there really is no record of him actually acquiring any kind of official numbers in tournament fighting. So I mean, Bruce Lee was great choreography, great at movies. I liked him. I watched all his movies. But that was the only thing. I have to stick with people with numbers.
My vote, Chris Farley, Beverly Hills Ninja.
That's right up there too.
Good one.
I mean, if there's a Mount Rushmore of martial artists, you may got Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, Farley's right. He's right there. I mean,
yeah, he's there, right?
He's there, all right.
I don't know where there is, but he's there.
I mean, he's there.
That might be my favorite Chris Farley movie.
There is just kind of a hole in the backyard. There could mean anywhere.
Yep. He's the guy that plays with the nunchucks and knocks himself out,
Wow.
It's Seagal versus Van Damme. Any comments on that one?
Well, Seagal, I'll have to, because I do hold
Peru, that was
I hold a belt in Aikido, so I have a little connection with Seagal. I never met the guy, but as far as the guy himself, I don't have much respect for him. So
yeah, he kind of went in a weird
direction, I don't really have respect.
Stock Jock's right. Yeah, he'll tell you.
Yeah, he will tell you. Yes, exactly correct. Yep.
Under siege.
One of the one I never met, because he was never really at any competitions or any demonstrations. He was never there. Only afterwards did he start showing it, after he got out of the movies. Then he wanted to do some demonstrations just to make
stay relevant.
Right, to stay relevant.
The cook, he'd rather cook than fight, right? I mean,
yeah, is that what the whole thing is? Yeah, right. He's just the cook, right?
He's just the cook,
master of the buffet.
So,
all right. Well, we'll move on from movies real quick. We'll go on to some of the TV shows that were popular, or events that happened on TV during 1983. So see if you guys remember any of this. I'm sure you will. So A-Team, everybody knows the A-Team, right? That debuted 1983. So did the show Reading Rainbow. I don't know if you guys
saw that this morning.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, Reading Rainbow with LeVar Burton. And I didn't realize that show went on until like 2006.
Oh, I forgot LeVar Burton was part of that.
Yep. Before he was Geordie LaForge in Star Trek.
Wow. He must have been young then, right?
I think he was very young.
20s, I guess.
Yep.
He had recently gone on record as being upset because because he's talking about, like, he was doing Reading Rainbow. Now people are banning and burning books, and he was promoting people to read. And it's like sort of like, so he's kind of gotten really. He's really irritated. Like, Reading Rainbow is kind of like a sore subject now.
It's a shame. I remember watching that. We grew up watching that. You know, that was like one of the educational shows.
I think
that we
everybody
watched
did. I
as the
think
young
everybody
kids.
did.
Every day you'd watch it.
Yep.
Yeah.
What else we got here? Remember Mama's Family?
Yeah.
That was that started in 1983, and actually the final episode of MASH, the original run of MASH, which I didn't know this, drew 105.9 million viewers on the final episode of MASH, and up until 2010, it was the highest rated TV show of all time.
Okay, can I go on record as saying, and I might get hate for this, I hated that show terribly.
MASH.
Oh God, MASH.
MASH. Yeah,
it was the most
I never really got into it.
show I'd ever watched in my life. I just never got into it. And I know some people are crazy, but I
wildly popular, I guess, and
it
even
was
spawned a spin-off which started in 1983. It was called After MASH, which I never even knew existed.
I wouldn't know either. I tried watching MASH like a couple of times as I got older and saying, well, maybe I wasn't seeing something when I was younger, and I watched it again. And as I got older, it was just even, I don't know.
You got even more. You got even more irritated.
The whole
was G.I. Joe from 83?
Yep, we didn't get to that one yet. I had was going into the cartoon. No, that's okay. It's
well, you said
instead of making them two separate categories, I should have just mashed them all together. So yeah, Wheel of Fortune debuted in 1983, and so did Bob Ross in The Joy of Painting. Those were all 1983s. I know, it was unreal.
Stock Jock, I'm sorry.
Shame.
Don't hate me for it.
82, or is this
Ding-a-ling. You must be old if you said ding-a-ling.
I thought G.I. Joe was 83, but even if it wasn't, He-Man that was 83, which that's another classic cartoon.
Wow, that's the best.
I mean, Inspector Gadget was 83, Alvin and the Chipmunks, and
looks like the
Fraggle Rock.
Hazard.
You remember Fraggle Rock?
Yep.
That was what the heck? Oh my God, drawing a Jim Henson.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the best puppeteer. Did what? Sesame Street. Did the Ninja Turtles, and I think he did a lot of the puppeteer in Star Wars, even.
Yeah,
like Yoda and stuff.
What was that other movie he did that I remember watching? It was something with the crystal. I don't remember. I loved that movie though when I was younger.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of those movies back in the day that used animatronics and puppets and stuff like that. Him and his guys probably
amazing. The Dark Crystal, I think it was. Was that?
Oh, the Dark Crystal. Yeah.
That's what MG's saying. Thumper Squid saying the same thing.
Okay.
I don't think I'm familiar with that.
Dark Crystal was
that must be it.
Dark Crystal was 82.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie. I love that. But
what did you think of the Netflix sequel or requel or whatever it was?
To Dark Crystal.
Netflix revival. Yeah.
They had one. I don't.
Yeah. Oh wow! It went over. You didn't. You totally missed you. Yeah. It was. It was too expensive to renew. Too expensive to renew.
It's funny stuff.
Man,
so there was a lot
Sajak has been doing this since '83, guys. I just saw.
I know.
Oh man, Sajak's looking old.
Yep.
Well, it's like Mark Summers. Every time there's a Double Dare revival, he.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I mean, I can't imagine Wheel of Fortune without Pat Sajak, right?
I couldn't either. Like
with Alex Trebek, like he was synonymous with Jeopardy. Like it's not the same anymore. And Drew Carey, were you going to say Drew Carey?
I was just going to say the same thing.
It's not the same.
When Drew Carey came in place of Barb Barker, I was like, oh my God, this show is gone.
Did you see how much weight he lost?
Yeah.
Yeah. He went up and then down. Yeah. I'm like, it's such a weird transition from Barb Barker.
I know. It doesn't seem like the same show almost. And neither does Jeopardy. And I'm sure Wheel of Fortune will be the same way when. Yeah. Vanna White she's still on there, right?
Oh, she's got to be. What else is she going to do?
Yeah, I mean, right. I got a whole bunch of Nintendo games starring Vanna White.
Let's see what the actual factuals there. What else is she gonna do?
I could go on believe me, I could go on a rant about Vanna White and my disdain for her, but we won't get into that, I guess.
He's saying, did he leave for a while? Don't think he's done it straight through. I couldn't tell you that.
I don't know.
Chances are, Stockjock's probably right if he thinks that it is.
Yes, yes, I think she has.
Yeah, Family Feud's different because they've had different hosts. Tons of
they had
different
a lot
right?
of yeah,
and that's right. Al Borland or what's his name, Richard Karn, Al Borland from Home Improvement. I forgot he hosted it for like a hot minute there in the 90s.
Didn't he delete himself or something?
Maybe.
I think
Tommy, I think Simon and Simon might have aired on Magnum PI. I don't know if I'm right about that, but they did make a cameo in Magnum PI, and I wonder if that's because it was both I believe a CBS series. I think that was the spinoff.
Is Al Borland? I don't think so, Tim. Steve Harvey, the best host for Family Feud.
Hey Zohar, good morning.
Hey Zohar.
Good morning.
Good morning, Zohar.
Well, yeah,
Good
he's probably laying in bed right now, just trying to get the eyes open up. Yeah, it's early out on out on the West Coast.
Definitely early.
It's not even 8 o'clock yet. You got a couple of minutes till 8. Wow,
yeah,
you're early.
Oh, that's why we do it, right? Because 7 o'clock, 6, 7 o'clock when you were a kid,
we jumped out of bed when we were kids. Yeah,
it was good TV on. It was a good incentive to get up in the morning.
To our parents, whatever it was.
Yeah, right.
The word you're looking for is detriment.
Detriment. Thank you, Doc. Thank you.
For real.
Yeah, I got tongue tied there. I had a brain
Ralphie's
fart.
always here, and I don't know if Ralphie sleeps though. Like Phil, Ralphie's texting us at like midnight, and he's up at 6 in the morning. I don't think he sleeps. And neither him or Bobby Vu. I don't think they sleep.
No, I don't either.
Bobby Vu never sleeps. No, he definitely
Bobby Vu, you can hook up wires to him and light an entire city.
With the amount of energy,
so much energy.
With the amount of
energy.
Positive energy that man has.
Wow, if we can convert that to clean energy, wow.
Yep, watch Kids WV. Never get a personal welcome. What are you talking about?
Hey, good morning, MG. How you doing, man?
Hey, MG.
MG's here, guys.
Good morning,
MG. Go in the mall, do 100 shorts. I mean, at 5 seconds a piece, you could nail that in a couple hours.
Keep them coming, man.
Awesome, Zohar.
Yeah.
Keep them coming.
Yeah, man.
So
the shorts get a lot of views now. So
and his are
they
really
I like the milkshake one.
Because remember, guys, it's all about the views. That's what matters.
Yes, not your subscribers.
No, the favorite one he's done that was he's like, oh look, there's a dog taking a shit. How many views am I gonna get? I loved it. As soon as I saw the dog, I'm like, oh, I know it's coming.
Well,
keep it up, Zohar.
The Burger King one last night with the vanilla shake, I was kind of hoping for chocolate.
Disappointed. Yeah. Is that what you go for, the chocolate shake over the vanilla?
If I'm lactose intolerant, if it's going to run into issues, but I would I would go chocolate.
You're lactose intolerant? My condolences.
It's at 3.3K.
When I was a kid, I had that problem. It was rough, because I used to like malto meal as a kid. You guys remember malto meal and cocoa wheats. You guys ever eat that?
Yeah, I remember cocoa wheats. They still make that?
I don't know.
That was basically like cream of wheat.
I haven't had it in decades. I have no idea.
That's funny. Zohar got 3.3 thousand views on the dog shit.
Oh, dog taking a dump.
He's up there with an ASMR video. All he has to do is a 5-second whisper into his mic. You probably get 30,000 views.
30,000.
That's shit. You ever know? I can't. Oh my god.
People, man, that's the thing. That's what I always say. Just put out content because the people will watch anything.
Yeah,
they will.
Just keep pumping it out.
Just make the stupidest crap, and you'll do better.
Yeah, that's true. You know?
Well, I thought it might be fun also to take a dive into the arcades, since that's kind of how all of us met, really, right? And we already talked about Dragon's Lair. I know Ralphie and a couple other people were spitting off some other ones. The Star Wars vector graphics came out in 1983. Mario Brothers was another one. There was a lot of good arcade games that came out. Track and Field.
Oh yeah, Track and Field.
Spy Hunter. Tapper, Sinistar.
What year did Moon Patrol come out?
That's a good question.
I'm gonna look.
I don't think it was 83, maybe 84.
I'll look Moon Patrol up because I want to see. Because some people believe that Moon Patrol is a AAA game. I'm gonna go ahead and look up and see here.
It's a game.
It came out in
19. I was younger.
It came out in 1982, guys.
82.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's younger. Yep. There was another one too. There was a Laserdisc game that was out in 83. I remember vividly because it came out on the heels or before Dragon's Lair. And I have it on the multicade. Astron something.
Don't say you hate Moon Patrol.
Oh, I hate freaking Moon Patrol.
Oh boy.
My God, that game annoys the hell out of me. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's terrible. that horrible music.
Now look what you've done.
The buggy's just like chugging along.
Hey, are you talking about the actual arcade game or the ports?
The ports.
Oh yeah, the ports are bad. The ports.
The ports were pure garbage,
yeah.
Jess.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that was one. Cliffhanger, Pole Position.
Yeah, I think Pole Position 2, right?
Oh, yes, you're right. It was Pole Position 2. Yep.
Yeah.
Stock Jock. I think Robotron. I don't think it was 83. Only reason I don't think that's because I didn't write it down.
Here, let me look it up. Okay, I got you. You said Robotron? Robotron was, let's see.
Hot Rangus, come on. AIDS was big in 83, okay? God.
Guys, Robotron was also 1982.
Robotron was 82.
Yeah, I forget it was a little earlier.
Yeah, you gotta remember 82. 82 was also the Polybius legend.
Yeah, that's
allegedly took
was
place in 1982 as well.
Me, Tommy.
So you kind of had, in the Portland area.
You know what? When they came up with that story, I kind of thought to myself, maybe it's one of those things where everybody
says very creative, Toxin.
You believe it, but I thought I did see a Polybius.
I believe it existed. I mean, come on, man.
Dude,
I've got the Numbskull arcade charger for Polybius. I'm looking at it right now. I mean,
I don't know. It just stuck in my head. Maybe it was just implanted that way.
I believe it existed too, Jesse, and I wouldn't be surprised if I seen it in an arcade at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I swore when they brought up that story, I said I could have swore I'd seen that game. I remember it in the back, against the wall.
It existed. I'm almost positive it existed. That's why I say I don't.
Me too. I'm almost positive it was there. I mean,
it's like you kind of
saying it was an urban legend. I mean,
it's one of those things where it just kind of, I know it wasn't. It definitely wasn't big. It was probably a very limited thing, but I'm pretty sure that it existed.
I'm almost positive, but then what do I know? I see ghosts sometimes. I don't know.
The cabinet itself could be a ghost, Jesse. For all we know, at this point, it doesn't.
That little blonde hair boy in the white tuxedo is there playing it, right?
Yeah,
in your hallway.
I might be living in another dimension for all I know. I don't know.
So there's some other significant video game milestones that took place in 1983, which the video game Crash, which I'm sure we're going into home consoles now, which you know what the video game Crash is, right? Basically the Pac-Man clones and the Atari on the Atari and ET and poorly made games.
Yeah.
Sunk what was an industry on the rise, and that all took place in 1983. And still to this day, people are digging up copies of ET and Pac-Man out in the deserts of New Mexico and Nevada.
Well, the arcades themselves started doing really, really bad in '83.
Oh, really? So that not only was it consoles that were affected,
no, yeah,
it
it spread all
games
the way,
in
but
general.
then it made a very big resurgence shortly right after that when they started coming out with the
original
games.
Elevator Action came out in 19.
Yes, that's another one. Elevator Action.
Yep.
Yeah. So in 1983, this isn't in the United States, but the Famicom, the Japanese NES, that released in Japan, and so did Sega. They released the SG-1000, which I just learned is, I guess, the
it's the SG-1000. Yeah, not many people know
the
about
equivalent
that
to the Master System, maybe.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, SG-1000.
Which no, I did not know about that, and
I
it's funny.
Heard that in a long time.
Yeah, they released that. Sega released that the same day that Nintendo released the Famicom. So those both came in. And the game we talked about a couple weeks ago, Phil, I think it was in one of your trivia questions. Remember Pepsi Invaders?
Yes.
That was 1983. That was the I guess, was it Pepsi that did it? Yeah, Pepsi. No, it was Coke. It was called Coke Wins. That's right. It was basically a Space Invaders clone. I get confused. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. E.T., I think we could probably have a whole discussion on that game alone.
Yeah. But I agree. We did the same thing. We played it, complained about it, but we still played it.
But we still played it. Me and my brother did too. We had no idea what the hell we were doing. We just, it's E.T. The main title screen was actually fairly impressive.
And it's a game. It's not like back in that day we had a lot of games.
Yeah, they put all the money into the title screen.
I would say that's probably fair.
That's
95% of their budget was in
the development was make the title screen epic.
Yes. Yep. And it was too. It was good.
And the box art, the
graphics for that title screen were cutting edge.
Yeah, they were. And you had a recognizable theme song, which how many Atari 2600 games had that? Like you barely had music at all.
Yeah.
And that game had it, and then you get into the game.
Yeah, when that title screen came on, it was like, wow, here we go.
This is gonna be something.
And then all of a sudden the gameplay. Everybody's face changed quick.
Yeah, you're like, what are we supposed to do again?
What is this? I keep falling in holes. What the hell am I doing?
Yeah, I know. Well, what do they say? They had 6 weeks to put the game out.
I was sitting here thinking.
I
was sitting here thinking, man. I was sitting here thinking. I loaded it up. I loaded up the ROM for ET the other day, and I was thinking, who are the scumbags who developed this? That's what I was thinking. I was like,
wait, what did you say? I missed it.
Oh man!
Hey, oh god, it's like time.
That was Warshaw that came up with that. Yeah. Who also made Yar's Revenge, which became a big deal, and I never liked Yar's Revenge. So I don't know. Maybe I'm a grumpy.
I'm trying to see when. What else can? Because
Yar's Revenge was okay.
Somebody said
I didn't hate it.
Sinistar was 83 too.
The what? Sinistar.
I'm looking Sinistar.
My research said that it was, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did it?
83. Wow. Sinistar is fantastic.
Yes,
I love that game. I love Sinistar. Let's see. What about Gorf? Let's see. Gorf. When did Gorf come out? Gorf came out
82.
81.
Oh, 81.
Which
I would think
it's surprising because Gorf is pretty great looking for
yeah. But they kind of jumped right off of Galaga and Galaxian.
Yeah. Anything of that mold once
once that took place, then they were starting to make different games that kind of look like that.
Yeah,
but I like Gorf. Gorf was good.
In the early 80s, they really started, I don't know, I guess flexing their muscles when it came to a lot of these arcade games. Like they started really starting to become impressive, and like with games like Dragon's Lair and Space Ace and the Vector Graphics Star Wars game.
Yeah, they were really starting to kind of push the envelope on different things.
Oh yeah, Dragon's Lair. I think back then would be like the equivalent of like a brand new Grand Theft Auto game. In terms of
probably
today,
at the time,
like at the time, and with that technology, because again they were using laser discs.
Yeah. Well, here it is. I figured it out. Astron belt. I don't know. Have you guys ever heard of that? I think that
Yes.
was
Yes.
yes.
That was
Okay,
another one. That was
the laser disc
talking about the
before
space-
Dragon's Lair.
You're talking about the space game.
Yes.
Where you're in a spaceship and it was another laser disc title.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it at an
Yes.
arcade.
Yeah, me too.
When I was a kid.
And it was kind of on the rails, kind of a shooter, but yeah,
it was
know
kind of
about that one.
thinking about it now, Jesse. It kind of reminds me of. It could kind of be like a precursor to Star Fox almost. Because you remember how the graphics were kind of had those shapes, and it was, but they were more. I think they were more digital, like movie almost.
Yeah, I think the ship, if I remember correctly, looked like Battlestar Galactica kind of too.
Yeah,
ship, right.
Yeah.
If I remember, I'm not sure if I remember it, but
I remember now. Yeah, I remember seeing it in an arcade as a kid, and it was a laser, but it was a laser disc. It used the same technology as Dragon's Lair and Space.
Yeah, but I think it was the very first one. And then Firefox came out after that, which I loved, and I wish Firefox would come out on something. I know nobody would buy that because not many people know about it or whatever. And it wasn't that great of a game, but I have a nostalgia for that too, that game,
Yeah, and MG is right here. Laserdisc was used for the background planet graphics, video footage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was, and that was the thing, because what people don't realize is Laserdisc was actually the superior format for home video. It was just super freaking expensive.
Yeah,
like if you were gonna get into Laserdisc, it was the equivalent of if back in the 90s you decided, okay, I want to buy a Neo Geo.
Yeah,
that's what you're looking at.
Yeah, we had the first Pioneer one that came out, the Laserdisc in the house. But there was no movies to buy for it. I remember my father was all excited about it because he was like a big techie. He liked to buy anything tech. But when we bought the Laserdisc, we went to I think it was Video Shack we went to back in those days, if anybody remembers that place. But they only had like a handful of movies. And I remember picking up Popeye with Robin Williams, Cheech and Chong, which he didn't know anything about Cheech and Chong. He just thought it was a comedy. And we were young kids at that point. And he puts Cheech and Chong on, and I think Chong is like pissing out the window, and he's like, "What the hell are we doing here? Turn it off." And I was like, "Turn that off!"
Is that the one where the
Laserdisc but Laserdisc started to really pick up through the 80s, and essentially,
later on
by the 90s, you literally had thousands and thousands.
Oh, it was that's all it was.
Yeah, afterwards you did.
Yeah. It really took off, and it has its, it has.
I have the original Star Wars, the first cut. Yeah, on Laserdisc. I have the original Jaws, first cut. So yeah, that I watched those movies there. Well, I watched them in the theater too, but those were the first Laserdiscs we had.
Well, same goes with CDs, and I was part of what I was looking up. They said CDs got big in '83, like maybe it was introduced to the United States in the first time. CD players were a big item, and from what I was reading, they say they were about $1,000 if you wanted like a CD player.
They worked in '83, like when they first came out. Were they great just off the bat? Did you hear anything negative about it?
That's a good question.
I'll tell you this, and Zod, you'll probably remember the first CD players they came out with. You couldn't shake them or move them one little bit, or it would skip. It would have to.
Yeah.
And if the moment because they started making them for cars, you could put them in your car and play it. But every time the car hit a bump, it would freak the whole thing up.
So it was unlistenable.
I remember my cousin had one. It was like a stereo system, and it was very. But it would, like you were right. It would skip at the drop of a hat, regardless of what you did.
So what they did was about 2 years later, they put up a digital reverse thing where it would be digitally recording as you were playing. So if it sensed the skip, it would go back to where it was recorded and it would play. So then they came up with this technology that you could shake it and it would never skip again because it was digitally recording as it was going along.
And do you remember how they used to, the pageantry of how they used to sell CDs where they would be literally in like long boxes.
Yeah,
it wasn't like it wasn't just jewel cases. I mean, you would have
you had the whole security kind of long thing that you had to pull out. And,
I mean, I just remember going to like what was it? Music Land and Sam Goody, and they would have like the
Goody,
CDs, and it'd be huge where you would and that's where they would put the security, the anti-theft lock on it, and it would be this, but it would be in this like long, they would be in like these long boxes. So you'd buy the CD, and it would have all of the artwork and stuff from the albums. It would have it all on there, but you'd bring it home, and then you'd have to open this box, take the plastic wrapper off, open the box, and take your jewel case CD out. It would be inside thing, and then they just got lazy and stopped dealing with the boxes altogether and just did jewel cases.
One thing I remember back that day too was the Sony Walkman. I think came out at that time too. You know, because everybody started having the Walkman. I still remember those little foam headphones, you know, that you put in the Walkman and everything. You know, I'd have that strapped to my hip with the Cavariccis on and all.
Wow, Jesse. Wow, Kelly Clarkson would have been proud.
Yeah, right.
What a segue, huh? So, I'm not going to play the whole full commercial thing because we're running a little bit late right now. But our friend Zodwriter did bless us with two fantastic clips, which I definitely want to play. Which one should I do? Well, you said Kelly Clarkson, so maybe we'll play that one first. This will count as our commercial for today. So you guys have to check this out. This is fantastic.
You all know little old me. I'm Jesse's sweet superstar singing crush. One day, we are going to have our little fling, and everybody who knows about it will just have to learn to live with it. I'm a huge fan of Nostalgia Power. This amazing quartet consists of my undercover boyfriend, Jester Tester, PD7, Zodwriter, and it's all brought to you by the bad guy Mike Worley. He's almost at 500 subscribers, and I might have to plan a special celebration for when the inevitable happens. Please, everybody watching, like, share, and subscribe.
Wow. I'm so glad you brought it out, Kelly. But unfortunately, I'm going to be nailed by TMZ now, so now my day's going to be busy as hell.
Yeah, you're going to have to follow you around.
You're going to have to, Jesse,
secrets out.
You're going to have to be dodging paparazzi and everything, man. You might have to go back to wearing those Cavariccis, man. You might have to, like, you know, disguise with your Walkman and live off the grid.
or just carry that sword around with you. You'll be fine.
Yes, he's off the grid.
You know what I heard? I heard that she loves men with beards, so I guess maybe that's why she attached to me. I don't know.
Make fun of Mariah Carey saying my name. Okay. Oh God, that wouldn't be hard. Mariah Carey
the stuff you could do with that, it's almost scary.
I'm having a lot of fun with it, and honestly,
that was.
I think Kelly Clarkson is some of my best work, to be honest.
It is, and
came out awesome.
Now, this one I was very, very impressed with this one here. So we'll play this one real quick.
Hi there. And back in 1983, I was still playing the Man of Steel. In actual fact, a movie in my run, while wearing my underwear on the outside, opened at the box office in June of that year. In celebration of today's episode of Nostalgia Power, I want to commemorate Superman 3. Richard Pryor was my co-star, and he made more money than I did. Anyway, thank you to everybody in the chat and those watching later on replay for continuing to support my super friends, the bad guy Mike Worley, Jester Tester, Zodwriter, and the real life Jimmy Olsen himself, PD7. I'll be seeing you all around.
Wow.
Was it true? Did Richard Pryor really make more money than him in that movie?
Yeah.
That's kind of insane.
Yeah, that was that. See, this is the thing. That movie, a lot of the budget went to Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor was big.
I mean, I get it; he was a big name, but God, I mean, you're not doing the movie without him.
Yeah.
I mean, true. I get it. Yeah, like I said, big name draw. You know, star power.
She likes grandfather figures. Oh, MG.
Yeah.
I'm not that much further from her. She's in her 40s.
40s, isn't she?
Yeah.
I would have to think so.
How old do you think I am, MG? Come on.
Talking at talking to Jester Tester like he's 75.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
Kelly Clarkson is really out of your league there.
Yeah. Wow. Yeesh. Oh my God.
Yeah, I really I was impressed by that Superman one, because to me he defines Superman. I mean, I don't know if it's because I grew up with it or if everybody else feels the same way.
Everybody grew up.
Yeah, I
with
mean,
it.
I don't know if that's why I am so attached to him being Superman, but
yeah, I like
that's kind of exactly what I think of.
I loved him as Superman. I always will love him as Superman. But to me, the modern, interpretation of Superman for me will always be Henry Cavill. I feel like he
was a fantastic.
He defined the character
Yep.
for the modern age. But
right.
But Christopher Reeve definitely growing up
is the icon,
and you just can't, because you wouldn't have probably wouldn't have all these modern superheroes now if it
any
wasn't
of this.
for,
any of it.
Yeah, you really would. That was the first big superhero movie, right?
Because back then, you did have a few superhero movies, but it wasn't like after. Like once Christopher Reeve and Superman came on the scene, it was huge. This is why we were able to later on in '89 get Batman. We were talking about
Batman.
We were able to get all that because of Superman. If not for Christopher Reeve, we wouldn't have it. So yeah, it's I mean, nostalgia. It doesn't get any more nostalgic than that. Yeah. I feel like as a fan of all of that, it's like you're just
jump Superman flipping.
Oh my God, and of course the best sequence in Superman 3 specifically is the fight where Superman is fighting himself. I mean, Christopher Reeve got so jacked for that scene. It was just brutally awesome. Amazing.
Yeah, I like
was I think it was Superman 2, the scene that I used to get so mad at when I was a kid. Remember when Superman lost his powers?
Oh yeah.
And he went into that diner and that big truck driver.
Oh, I know.
Would pick on. I'm like,
but he goes back.
If he was Superman, he'd kick that guy's butt. Yeah, then he goes back, and the guy punches him in the chest and
there's a great.
This one's to go.
Yep.
There's a great Superman fan edit online called Superman Redeemed, which takes deleted material from Superman 2, stuff from Superman 3 and Superman 4, and merges it into one movie and makes it very coherent and tells like a different story. It's really,
and
really
it was
well
all unused footage.
Well, no, a lot of the material that was unused is the material from
that they made this
material from Superman 2. But
the
stuff that from Superman 3 and 4, it's not unused footage, but they combine it in a way where it actually makes sense. Mm-hmm. And they use digital technology to remove Richard Pryor from certain scenes and certain things. It's really a trip. It's something great to check out if you're a Superman fan. It's called Superman Redeemed. It's really cool. It kind of makes it does what the title says, where it tries to redeem Superman 3 and 4 and actually make it like a coherent sequel to the original, the first two films.
Well, how long is it? Like, how much unused footage were they?
Like an hour. It's like an hour. The movie's like an hour.
It was that much.
Like any other. It's like any other Superman movie, but it's like no. But the deleted material. There's deleted material from Superman 2. I'm not sure how much deleted material, but it's material that wasn't in Superman 2 for whatever reason, and they were able to incorporate it into this and really bridge the gap and tell a really unique story. It's really cool because plus. Superman 2, in 2006, they released Richard Donner's cut of Superman 2. And the Donner cut of Superman 2 is a little bit different from the one that
destroys the Fortress of Solitude in that movie. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he does.
And how could his heat vision destroy those crystals? They're the same equal power.
Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it?
That's a good point.
and the fact that they had to use the whole turning back the world sequence again for the Donner cut was kind of
after Jarrell warns him, you cannot interfere. He does it twice now.
He does it twice.
Hey, what's up, Garrett?
Which movie did he use his heat vision when the glasses were still on? Was that the regular Superman 2 or the Richard Donner cut when they were at the Niagara Falls? Like, dude, you got
Niagara Falls. That's the original Superman 2. That's the Lester cut, not the Donner cut. The Donner cut didn't have any of that. The Donner cut had a totally different scene.
It's been so long since I watched the Richard Donner cut.
Yeah, the Donner cut has a completely.
I don't know if I've ever seen it.
The Donner cut has a completely different scene where Superman reveals himself to Lois Lane. Lois Lane actually shoots him, and and that's when the reveal comes that he's Superman.
Instead of tripping over the rug, remember when he
tripping over the rug in the.
He burned himself in the fire.
He was supposed to have burnt himself. Now that scene doesn't exist in the Donner cut. It's
maybe I have seen parts of it because I remember, the scene where she pulls the gun on him and shoots him.
Yeah. So it's
I actually bought that at Best Buy. I remember seeing that going.
Did you really? You actually bought physical media at Best Buy that's not arcade?
Oh yeah. Oh yes, I had all the movies. I don't even have a DVD player. Like the last DVD player I had was the Xbox 360. Like I have no way.
Yeah, I think my PlayStation 2 is still lingering around here somewhere.
I mean, I'm as bad. The reason they're not carrying them, like I haven't bought any recently either. I download it to Amazon every time I want to buy a movie.
Yeah. Hey, saying spirits, there were multiple nuclear men in Superman 4. In fact, if you get Superman 4 on Blu-ray now, you can watch that there is almost 3 hours of deleted material from Superman 4 that has multiple nuclear men.
Gosh.
I mean, I
Lex
think
there's a nephew in that one.
I want to say that there's 4 or 5. I want to say that there's like 4. I think there's 4. I think there's 4 different nuclear men, and you get to see them all in this deleted footage. Whereas, the main movie only used one.
Yeah, you only ever saw one.
And what I loved about, for example, like that Superman Redeemed I was telling you about, how they use Nuclear Man is really interesting. They have a scene in there, the scene where Nuclear Man scratches Superman. Mm-hmm. That's what causes Superman to go.
He gets like sick and
he has to hold the crystal, but he gets sick.
He gets bad and he gets sick but that's what causes him to become like bad, because it ties into the Superman where they use the Superman 3 footage where he goes around the town and he's doing all the crazy stuff, and then he fights himself in the alley. All of that they use all of that. Yeah, it's really cool how they tie that together.
Ducky.
Yeah, Ducky.
You're from 2.5 Men.
When did that movie come out? Pretty in Pink. Wasn't that 85, 84, 85?
I don't know.
I think it was Pretty in Pink.
Nuclear Man, MG.
Oh, you know what another good one was? Blue Thunder. That came out in 83, I think, with Roy Scheider, the helicopter.
Oh, Pretty in Pink. I was wrong. 86. Yeah.
Well, boys, what do you think? About an hour and a half into it.
1983.
That was 1983, pretty much. There was some historical events that I guess I could throw a few of them out there that I'm still kind of surprised. So supposedly David Copperfield made the Statue of Liberty disappear in 1983. Does anybody remember this or know of that? Like, how the hell did he do that?
He had a specific audience that sat in front of it. You watched it on television, but the audience was in on it. And what they did was they put the curtain up in front of the audience, and they were on a gimbal, and all they did was turn the entire audience with the camera around, but you couldn't see it. And then when they opened the curtains, they were looking at another part of the harbor, and just like it was gone.
So I mean, clearly he didn't make it disappear, but I was just wondering how they pulled that off. MG says big mirror. I mean, that's kind of how a lot of those.
No, it wasn't a mirror. The audience was on like a rotating gimbal, and then they had just a pedestal set up over on the other side, and they turned the entire. But you couldn't see it because the camera was moving with it. Then when he opened it, it was gone, and then he turned it back. Yeah.
So okay, so that's how he did it.
Yep.
Mm.
When you know
Like,
it, it's not as amazing when you know it.
Yeah, when you know it, you're like, boy, that's like I could have done that.
Yeah, anybody could do it.
Anybody could have done it.
Here's the thing with David Copperfield that kind of got on my nerves is because really he became a big deal, and it was everybody else doing his magic for him. I mean, all he did
was just the
wave
face.
his hand.
That's all, yeah, he was just the face of it. That's it.
You know,
and yeah, you had stage hands and all this.
Yeah, and all
these behind the scenes guys.
I had more respect for people that did close up magic, like you know, Doug Henning and all those guys. They were a little bit better. You know, they didn't do that big stage stuff.
Yeah, that's not really anything crazy.
I'm sorry, Stock Jock.
Really
come on.
No, did they ever put it back? You know, or did it just like?
No, they put it back. Yeah, then they closed the curtain, and then they gave the whole big spiel, and they kept turning the audience, you know, slowly. You couldn't see it because everything moved with it, the curtain and all. And then when they opened it, there it was back. Everyone was like, oh. You know, but the audience was in on it. That was turning. Of course, they could feel themselves turning.
Could you imagine the trouble he would have been in if he really made it disappear?
He couldn't get it back.
Like you were in deep trouble, David.
Like, what have you done? The Apache helicopters have been circling around.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you ruined a lot of people's.
What have you done?
Sorry, guys. You had a lot of time to see it. It's old now.
What have you done?
So David Copperfield is a phony after all these years, huh?
You know, I used to hear years ago there used to be a society with magicians. There used to be where, you know, back in the day, if you ever told a secret or something, you'd have like somebody come and
Knuckles and Lefty would show up at your front
break
door.
Your knees over it. Yeah, you know.
Well, you know what those people
they took their craft serious back then. I mean,
yeah.
You gotta understand it. Yeah, it was a secret society. I mean, hey,
you know, yeah, you had
protect the industry, just like wrestling was the same way. You know, you protected the industry. Those guys went out in public and they acted like it was real. Like you didn't see a heel and a baby face hanging out in the same place at the same time because and if you did, it was a big thing.
Hey, who was that wrestler that smacked that newscaster in the face because he said it was fake?
Oh,
Stossel. I think it was John Stossel.
Hot Rangus, answer that question. I know you know it. Yeah, Stossel was the news
right? Was it Stossel? And he said a lot of people say it's fake, and he gave him an open hand slap. But I mean, he just wrecked him. Right. Oh, David Schultz.
Yeah, yes. Like whacked him good, and
he laid him out from a smack.
Yep. And I heard, Dr. Death.
Yeah, David Schultz.
Apparently, was like commended by Vince McMahon for doing that. You would think like
he was really
if you do something like that, you're going to get in big time trouble. But
wow,
that's what you were supposed to do.
I'm sure he got sued by Stossel though, because
it wasn't Randy Orton.
No,
did Randy Orton do something similar? I feel like nowadays that sort of magic is gone.
Yeah, but Randy Schultz stuck in my head with that. I mean, he really smacked him. Jeez.
Oh yeah, I've watched that not too long ago, and I'm like, oh my god, I forgot that this happened and like how real it was. Like he's like, you think this is fake? And
then he got all nasty with him. You think this is fake? Mm-hmm. Does that feel fake to you?
Does that feel fake?
Yeah. It was a different type of entertainment back then.
Yeah. I mean, everybody knew it was fake, but you just didn't say anything, you know.
Oh yeah, he's commended until they paid the lawsuit because so apparently there was a lawsuit involved.
I'm sure there was.
Then he was blacklisted.
I'm sure there was.
Didn't Schultz kill somebody in real life? That I don't know about that.
No, that I don't know either.
Keep my magic trick out your mouth.
Yeah.
Oh god.
No, Will Smith.
Here we go.
Yeah, you can watch the whole slap on YouTube.
It was
maybe joke. Will Smith. Yeah, I know. Andre the Giant taking a dump in a bathtub was the real brutality. I mean, where else was he supposed to go?
Wait, I never heard that. Did he really?
Supposedly, yeah. know if it was in a
You know,
hotel
a
or
bathtub to
something
him
like
would have
that.
been like a toilet to us, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, his
I mean,
choice
the
was the
dude's
swimming
cheeks were
pool
like,
or the bathtub.
I mean, wow. I heard that guy was like dirty as all hell, though. Like he wouldn't brush his teeth. He wouldn't.
Wow.
Dirty.
Yeah, he was just a mess.
Yeah. People said, man, when they got close to him, they just, he stunk.
Yep. And his drinking abilities was pretty well documented.
Scumbag.
Really? Well, think of how much drink he could put in.
Yeah, I
mean-
think it's on record by many people saying that he drank, I think it was 120 beers in the same sitting.
beer can to him would be like
Yeah.
this size to us.
Yeah.
It was like a Dixie
Yeah.
cup.
He was huge.
Yep, he used to drink like a case of wine, and I think he even said it on a Letterman interview back in the early
Wow.
'80s. It was he drank like 120 beers and like
Plus
6
the
bottles
amount-
of wine or something at dinner.
Jeez.
The amount of stuff he probably had to deal with as being a kid, and you know,
Oh yeah, and
Oh,
and it
no
just
doubt.
all
did,
adds
Yeah.
up, guys.
that's all he would
Yeah.
ever say was that because he had a
I mean,
farm
just-
somewhere down in the Carolinas, and he said, when I retire, I just want to go down there. He said, because the animals don't look at me like
That
some
freak.
sort of freak.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did. I mean, he used to drink, and they said he would pass out in the hotel room lobbies, and nobody could move him, and
Oh my
they
God.
would just let him lay there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and that's right. Saying they were traded. That's why, so unfortunately, that's why most of them are no longer here anymore.
Train wrecks.
Yeah, that's true.
It
There are
is
very
true,
few of
though.
them. That many of them
Yeah.
don't. I mean, you got Hogan, Flair.
Yeah, Ric
Not
Flair's
too
gonna
many
live.
of them.
Ric Flair is gonna live forever, guys. I mean, he's immortal.
Was it Hart that fell to his death?
Owen
Owen
Hart?
Hart. Yeah.
Owen Hart,
on
yeah.
Live.
I was
pay-per-view.
watching that night. No, that was like a Monday Night Raw.
I thought it was a pay-per-view.
No, it was. I was
No, it was
watching
a
it.
Raw.
He's like, kids, eat your vitamins, blah blah blah, and he goes up. That was it. They cut the show. It's like, what happened?
Yeah, he went up in the cage or something, right? Or they lifted him up
He
somehow,
he was being suspended down with a cable. I guess he was supposed to come
Just
down
come down
into the
in.
ring, to lower
Oh,
himself
okay.
down in, and he
Yeah.
wasn't. His harness wasn't fastened correctly or something, and yeah, he
Wow.
fell, like
Can you
landed
imagine?
on the ropes. They said if he hit the ring, there was a chance he may have lived. I mean, but
Wow.
yeah, he landed on the ropes, and
Little did he know, right? Jeez.
yeah. But yeah, and that's right. And they got in a lot of crap because they continued on with the show.
Oh, really?
Like they didn't stop the show when that happened.
Oh, that's like the thing I heard about Disney. If anybody gets hurt there on a ride or something, they just hose it down and keep going.
They're like,
They-
yep, clean up the carnage and just
Yep,
keep it going.
yep. They just pull them down underneath, and because the ambulances there can come in down through the under passages, and they just take
Oh,
the
yeah.
people out. Nobody sees it.
Yeah, it was I guess it was even that was
Scumbags.
Yeah.
just a couple of them earlier because I wasn't quick enough. All right, guys. Well, I think I got a lot going on this afternoon. We have about 30 or so people showing up at the house for dinner, and I think somehow it turned into like a birthday thing. So that's great.
So happy early birthday.
Happy early
have
birthday,
a
man.
great weekend, Mike. Happy early birthday.
Gonna try. I'm gonna hang on to my 30s for a couple
Pick
more
yourself
hours.
up.
So.
Pick yourself up, Dragon Slayer, Mike. I just 150 Cole's cash.
In Cole's
It's-
cash.
I was wrong. It's 15 for every 50. I've been I was just looking
I mean,
a couple of minutes
I
ago.
don't have much.
You've
nostalgia
been
for
wrong
the
this
game,
whole time.
but
Oh
it,
no!
it is good. Or I could just pop it in on the NES because they did a fantastic job with that. So
Oh yeah.
that was sarcasm if
Oh yeah.
you guys didn't pick up.
Well,
on
the
that.
fact that there's an NES
at the tail
port
end.
at all is fascinating, Mike.
It is,
you know?
but if you've never seen it, you wouldn't even know it was the same game.
Oh, of course not. Yeah, it's definitely a severe demake of
Yeah, I mean, I guess they did what they could with the hardware, but it's surprising that maybe a port on a more advanced system
Hey,
never came out.
We didn't do trivia. We got to
Oh,
do
crap.
trivia really quick. Holy cow. Really
Oh,
quick, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not really rushed, but.
And I just want to say that I got this from Tech Buzz, Stephen Haywood in Cleveland. So we're going to pick a couple of things out of this.
Nice.
Video Game Monthly. 2 questions in 1983. Masters of the Universe aired in September, but which day, guys? September 19th, September 7th, September 5th, September 23rd. So 19, 7, 5, or 23.
Soft Truck says Wednesday. You might be right. Keep an eye on the chat, Bill. I do not know the answer to this one.
It was a Wednesday.
Haranga said October 3rd.
Saiyan Spirits has 5.
The
The
5th.
answer is 5. And we're going to go with
Ooh,
Xbox
Fallout
One,
4.
Fallout 4.
Wow, very
Ship
nice.
that
Nice.
to Saiyan Spirits. And we got one more. National Lampoon's Vacation movie starring Chevy Chase, also released in 1983. What theme park did the family drive to from Chicago to Los Angeles?
I know
This is
this.
an easy one, guys. Come on.
Mhm.
You know, I was going to queue up like the Jeopardy theme song to play while people were
I
thinking.
was just thinking it in my head. I was going,
But I figured we'd get flagged,
Toxin.
so I didn't.
yeah,
I figured that would definitely
get
us a flag. So I'm like, what
Yeah.
can I play? I'm like, Jeopardy would be fantastic. I'm like, yeah,
All
except
right.
we get in trouble.
Tax 1,
So we got Toxin with
We got
Wally World.
Diablo, PlayStation 3. Send that to Tax.
Nice. Diablos. Great games. MG said
Ta-
Wallet World.
Tax, just text me your address, man.
Wallet World. I feel like Will Ferrell in Celebrity Jeopardy.
yeah.
Ronald McDonald Land. That's right. John Candy had like a brief cameo, right? He was the guy that Clark Griswold held up to get them into the park, and
Yeah.
like, basically
He was
held
the
them
security
hostage,
guard.
right?
Yeah, he was the security guard. Yeah.
And just a heads up, Hot Rangus, I'm shipping out yours. We'll ship out everybody's on Monday. And Johnny Blaze, I just need your address, man.
Collect your loot, Johnny.
And Toxin, we got each other's phone numbers. Saiyan Spirits, I got your address. I'm just gonna put my Instagram in here.
And
Just message me in the chat.
there you go, PD.
I just
that's your
need
Instagram
your
right there.
address. Yes, sir. I just need your address, Johnny Blaze.
All right, guys. Well, thank the three of you for getting up and doing this every Saturday, and
Always
everybody
a
in the
pleasure.
chat.
Problem.
Yeah, thank you guys all for getting up and hanging out with us. And
Yes, absolutely.
I don't think we're probably not going to do a Nostalgia Power Prime Time this week, but we'll talk about it, and we'll definitely have another one. Probably we'll try
We'll
to do one
definitely
before
figure it out.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
figure it out. We'll try to get one in before Christmas, maybe. But at the very least, we will be here in the same time slot every single Saturday.
Yes,
Absolutely.
God willing.
Same
Yep,
bad
God
time,
willing. That's right.
same bad channel.
Exactly. So thank you, everybody, and catch you next time.
Thanks
Thanks
guys.
for watching, guys.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.